Hi, everyone. Welcome to our next panel, which is going to be with His Excellency Khalid Al-Fallah, who is the Minister of Investment in Saudi Arabia. This is going to be a panel focused on investing in highest priorities. Investors have a vital role to play in providing the resources and capacity necessary to advance the highest priorities for humanity. And how have the transformations of the past 2 years reprioritized the way investors see the world? What global challenges are investors most focused on solving today? And what new technologies and industries will investors prioritize over the next decade? From climate change and food security to immigration, urbanization, culture, technology, and the future of work. What are the biggest challenges ahead, and how are leading investors creating a better tomorrow for everyone? So we're going to have both His Excellency speaking about this, and afterwards we'll have another panel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Susan. Good to be here.
Saudi Arabia has so much going on right now. It's an exciting time. I'm living in Dubai right now. I was just in Saudi Arabia in July, and it's transformed. I've done a lot of reporting there in the past. So how have the transformations of the past 2 years in particular reprioritized the way investors see the world, and what is your highest priority as Minister of Investment, and why?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to extend my thanks to FII, His Excellency Yasser, Richard, the team, for the great work they're doing around the world. FII is no longer a Saudi-centric think tank and conference. It's indeed a global event. And no better time to have it than this week on the sidelines of UNGA, with the global movers and shakers, geopolitical, economic, NGOs being with us here this week to debate, to reflect on where we're taking our future. In terms of your question, I think we have to realize that investment and money is very fungible. And what happens in Saudi Arabia is reflective of what is happening globally. So before we talk about the kingdom itself, I think we have to put it in the context of global trends and movements of capital, of investment, and more importantly, of the people with ideas. Investments, I think a lot of people measure it in money, and money, of course, is one of the parameters that we look at when we're looking at investment. But really what matters is getting the smartest people, the people with the ideas, the innovations, and the ability to make things happen. Now, globally, I'd like to use the analogy of an ocean with underlying currents and above the surface waves. And if you think about the underlying currents that have been around for some time, they've been accelerated, and the movement has been impacted by waves that are seasonal, that are temporary. But think of economic nationalism is a trend and is a current that has been going on for some time. And it's been accelerated and accentuated by the pandemic, by the recent geopolitical tremors that we have seen in Europe, in China, and elsewhere. Climate crisis and the reaction to it by the global community and by investors and by capital and by corporations is also an underwater current that has been sweeping across the globe, and it has been, of course, been impacted by the energy crisis that we see unfolding in front of our own eyes, not just in Europe, but most noticeably in Europe. Technology is a big thing that has been sweeping how we invest, how we live, and how countries and companies deal with each other. And of course, the pandemic and the disruptions that have happened recently have brought to the fore the importance of technology to addressing the challenges that we face as a global community, but it's also been a great opportunity for investors. Zeroing in on Saudi Arabia, I think Vision 2030, which has been discussed repeatedly today, is allowing us in the kingdom and allowing global investors to use the kingdom as a platform to take advantage of these global trends and currents that are sweeping the global economy, reshaping, re-engineering. So the kingdom is emerging as a place where climate challenges are being addressed at scale and at the right pace with very pragmatic policies and systems in place. The kingdom is presenting itself with its logistics, location, policies, regulations as the unavailable materials, low-cost, stable energy for decades to come, as the best place to place the supply chains of the future that will address climate change, resilience in supply chain, and nearshoring for major market, while also unleashing a lot of the capabilities in Saudi Arabia. And of course, we're doing this while transforming the kingdom's economy, bringing new sectors on that have a huge potential for growth, that is attracting a lot of international and domestic capital, and putting them together in some partnerships that are really shaping not just the future of Saudi Arabia, but I believe the region and beyond.
You are investing in the future of a nation. What is your message to investors who would be coming to invest in Saudi Arabia, in the kingdom?
Well, first of all, I think in the morning we heard Richard present to us what are people's priorities. And I want to tell you that our priority as the Ministry of Investment, my personal priority, is the investor. We live our life centered on how can we make our investors able to make the best returns at the lowest risk with the best ease of doing business in Saudi Arabia, while addressing their priorities as corporates, as entrepreneurs, as individuals, and at the same time address the priority of the global community while, of course, addressing our national priorities. So we align all of these together. And as I already alluded to, the kingdom has all of the enablers put together in a strategy that is well integrated, bringing in location, bringing in capital, bringing in energy, bringing in sustainability, social sustainability, environmental sustainability, economic sustainability. The kingdom has some of the best macroeconomic indicator, a very stable economy, very strong fiscal, monetary position, low-cost location, especially with recent trends globally, inflation, energy availability, so on and so forth. Great talent. We have some of the best talented people, our young men and women joining our workforce, joining as entrepreneurs are indeed our best weapon and best attraction to bring investors to the kingdom. So my call to investors here and everywhere is you don't know what you're missing until you come and see it. Come to Saudi Arabia. Find out for yourself. You will find that the kingdom is the best location to address quality, high growth, investment in a great market, which is in the Middle East.
And very quickly, because unfortunately we are running out of time, how do you decide where to invest in a way that optimizes the benefits to the people of Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think all sectors, of course, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have great potential. We're moving from focusing only on the old sectors of the past, oil and gas, my old sector, chemicals, where I made my career over 4 decades, to sectors of the future. So healthcare, biotech, education, logistics, and we're digging deep. We're not only focusing on large anchor investors, which are continuing to be very important, but we're digging deep into the ecosystem of the nation, harvesting and harnessing our most important resource, which is our young, talented, innovative people.
Remind us what the population is.
Population is about 35 million, give or take, of which 2/3 are Saudi and 1/3 are guests of the kingdom that we enjoy having, calling Saudi Arabia their home. But it's not just a number. I think the Saudi population, in addition to be hardworking, innovative, they're also spenders. Saudis have a good capacity to spend, so the market size far exceeds the population. And I think the combination of all of the above make for a very attractive environment in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you.